What's up, everybody? Today I have my official review on iOS 6 Beta 1. Um, I'm going to be reviewing the iOS 6 Beta on my iPod Touch 4th generation. So, what I'm going to be reviewing today of iOS 6 is all the main features that Apple announced and some of the other hidden features that might not be really well known. So let's go ahead and jump into this. So let's unlock it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the slight changes or the minor changes that nobody would really notice without someone showing them. So first thing is the clock application here. The camera for some reason does not ever want to focus in on it on a screen, unfortunately. But the minute hand and second hand on the app there is now square or rectangular rather than being pointed as it was on iOS 5 and older versions of iOS. Also, the look of the settings application has gotten a deeper shade of gray, and the gears inside of it are slightly more, they're not as pointed, the edges on it aren't as pointed. Also, the other slight change of the app interface is, excuse me, is the Maps app here now has a redesigned look of it. It's got a little blue arrow and a blue kind of like a turn-by-turn looking thing there. And another thing on the home screen is when you download a new application, it'll put a ribbon on it saying new, which is pretty cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some app redesign. I'm going to start with the music app. The music app, as you guys can tell, has been completely redesigned. It is completely laid out with a white background now. If you were to have music on it, which I don't at the moment, the buttons down here at the bottom are now square, which I kind of like the new layout better than the old version. Next redesign is the App Store. As you can tell already, everything is completely different and reorganized, and from here you can scroll through applications. And the buttons down here at the bottom are also square. You can hit search, update, top charts, genius, stuff like that. And you can hit categories up there at the top and search through all the app categories. So that's pretty cool. Then the iTunes Store has a redesign. Alright. Same thing as the App Store and Music app. The buttons are square at the bottom. And then you have, it's basically the same layout as the App Store. You can scroll up and down, and scroll through the albums and stuff on here on the side. And it is kind of laggy since it's the first beta. So, but yeah, it's not one to scroll. But you get the point. You can scroll just like in the App Store. And then this button up here at the top will show your history of all of the current or recent songs, movies, or TV shows that you have downloaded. So it's pretty cool. Much easier layout, I'd say. It's much easier to find stuff. Okay, now that's pretty much all of the redesign. Oh, actually, no, that's not it. In the camera app, as you can tell, it's not a very big change, but down here at the bottom, the little bar with the shutter button and picture preview is now a shade of black. And that's pretty much it. On YouTube, the only change here is that the little bar up here is blue. Also, another slight change is the status bar, you guys can tell, is now blue. That'll change depending on which application you are currently in. So say if you're in settings, it'll be blue, and if you're in FaceTime, it'll also be blue, rather than just being a standard white or black. So that's pretty much it of these slight, small changes. Actually, wait a minute, there's one more. I keep forgetting, sorry. One more slight change, and that is in the sharing option of when you want to share a photo. Whoops, wait a minute. It's kind of glitching on me. Okay, there we go. But anyway, this is a picture or screenshot of the Maps app. So when you hit the share button here, you actually get a icon layout rather than a list view, so you can share through all of the sharing options that it gives you. So that's really cool in my opinion. I really like the new share view. That also will work in Safari as well. So now that is officially all of the small changes. Now let's go ahead and jump into the main features that Apple announced at their keynote. The first big one, I'd say, is the redesigned map application. Unfortunately, as you can see, it says 3D there, but unfortunately, on the iPhone 3GS, iPhone 4, and the iPod Touch 4th generation, you do not get to have the 3D option or the flyover, which is a huge disappointment. I'm really bummed out about that, but there's nothing you can do. Maybe Apple will allow it in the final release of iOS 6, but until then, right now, there is no 3D option for those devices. But anyway, here's the new layout or redesigned map application. You have your standard location button down there at the bottom. You have turn-by-turn directions up here at the top. Also, the turn-by-turn directions with voice navigation is also, at this time, only supported on iPhone 4S and iPad 3 with the iPad 3 with the 4G connection. So, unfortunately, that's another thing that iPhone 3GS, iPhone 4, and iPod Touch 4th generation users will not get to experience. But when you hit that, it'll bring up a little menu, kind of laggy. But anyway, you can go from your current location. I'm going to go to Long Beach, California. Long Beach. There we go. And then it'll route your direction. And then next to the location here, you can get a list view of all of the turn-by-turn, which it's not wanting to do. Okay, but anyway. And then when you're ready to route your directions or your navigation, you hit start. And then you get this up here. New turn-by-turn layout for non-turn-by-turn users. You have to scroll through them since there isn't the ability of the actual turn-by-turn directions with the GPS and all that stuff. But that's pretty much it. You can hit end, and you can type your search into the search bar up there. And then you have the flip-up window, drop pin, print, hide or show traffic. I'm going to hide the traffic for now. Then standard, hybrid, and satellite view. So, without the actual turn-by-turn direction and flyover, it's kind of disappointing. It's kind of basically the same. But this Maps application is completely designed by Apple. Apple has completely gone away with Google Maps, and their turn-by-turn directions for the iPhone 4S and iPad 3 are run by TomTom GPS, so that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and move on to the next part or application or feature. And just to let you guys know, this video may be in 2 parts, so just giving you guys a heads up with that. If I do have to go to 2 parts, I will put a annotation in the video to link it to the second part of the video. So the next thing I can't show you, but This also is only on iPhone 4S and iPad 3 at the moment, and that feature is FaceTime over 3G/4G network, which is fantastic in my opinion. I don't own a 4S or iPad 3, so I can't really show you guys it, but from what I've heard and seen in videos, it works very, very well. Next is Facebook integration, and you, just like Twitter integration, you go into settings and you see Facebook right there, and then it's also a single sign-in, so once you do the single sign-in, you can go to say photos, hit that share button, and then hit the Facebook icon here. It'll bring up a very similar little window here, basically just like the tweet option or Twitter option, just with a Facebook icon or logo up there, and it'll put a picture of it or the picture over here, and you can type whatever you want right here. I'm not going to go ahead and do that. And the Facebook and Twitter integration is also in the notification center, so when you slide down, you also get tap to tweet and tap to post. So you can hit tap to tweet, it'll bring up this and bring up the tweet sheet, as Apple calls it. So hit cancel, and then the same thing happens with tap to post. It brings up the Facebook window. Pretty cool. And then you still got your weather, stock widget, your notifications, all that. That's all the same. Okay. Next is a completely new application that Apple revealed, and that is called Passbook. And what Passbook allows you to do is allows you to have or store your coupons, your store gift cards, boarding passes, airplane tickets, movie passes, all that good stuff inside this application. So when you launch it, right now, since the operating system is in beta, you can't really do anything with the application right now, but you can put boarding passes, tickets, store cards, and coupons and store those within the application, which is pretty nice. Next is new phone features, which I also can't show you on since this is an iPod. But what you get to do with the phone features is when someone calls you, you can swipe up a little. You can swipe up a little thing. It'll look exactly like the camera swipe option here, where you swipe up and it reveals the camera. But instead, it'll have a little phone icon on it, and you can swipe up, and it'll go up here and give you a couple of options. And those two options are reply with message and remind me later. And basically what that is you can reply to that person that's calling you with a text message if you don't feel like calling them or answering that call. And you can also set it to remind you to call that person back later, at a later time, which is very, very cool. Okay, so now moving on. You have offline reading list. So when you add a web page to your reading list from Safari, I've tried it and it for some reason didn't work, but that's most likely because it's iOS 6 beta. But what you do is just hit the share button, and here's that share layout that I was talking about. But you just hit add to reading list right here, and it'll go into the reading list tab right here. But yeah, like I said, it doesn't work really well. It still asks for an internet connection, which is weird. But anyway, that's it'll be very useful when the actual iOS 6 is fully released. Next is something called iCloud tabs, and this is another feature that isn't working. But when you tap on, you go into bookmarks and go to iCloud tabs. What it'll let you do is it will show all of the currently open tabs on all of your iOS devices. Say you have a tab open on your iPhone or iPad, and you want to view that tab on your iPod Touch or Mac or something, and you're not near your other device, you can just go to iCloud tabs, and it will open up that tab that's open, and you can view that web page. Next is, oops, wait a minute, 1 minute. Okay, the next feature is Do Not Disturb, and you can configure that within settings. That option is right here. So when you turn Do Not Disturb on, it'll put a little moon icon up near the clock. And yeah, once you turn it on, it will completely disable all incoming and outgoing calls. It will put the phone or device in vibrate or silent mode. And yeah, you just plain will not receive any phone calls, text messages, or anything whatsoever involving a push notification. So say you need to turn it on while you're going to bed and you don't want to be woken up by anything. It's pretty good to have. You can also configure the settings for that in notifications. You hit that and you can hit scheduled. And schedule the time frame which you want it to stay enabled. And then you can allow calls from certain people. And then you can repeat a certain call, which, the repeated calls actually is if somebody calls you within a matter of 3 to 4 minutes, in that time frame, it'll automatically put that call through because it could be an emergency. So that's very, very good. I'm going to have to cut this video right here and go to part 2. So, yes, I'm going to go ahead and go to part 2 real quick. I'll be right back. Thank you guys for watching. Go to my part, or click the annotation that it will be right here in the middle of the screen to go to part 2. And yes, thanks for watching. Peace.